Greetings, student math community. In this video, we are going to talk about adding fractions that have a common denominator. So first example, we see we have 4 over 15 and 7 over 15. So you can clearly see that the denominator for both fractions is the same. And so the process for adding fractions when you do have the common denominator is simply adding the tops and then keeping the denominator. So for instance, I have 4 plus 7, that is 11, over, and you keep the denominator the same. You do not change the denominator, okay? So I'm going to write that out for you in case you're taking notes. And also another thing to remember is, if possible, reduce. And on this particular problem, we cannot reduce because 11 and 15 do not share any factors. So that problem is done. The next problem has a common denominator of 32. So again, I have 17 minus 5. 17 minus 5 is equal to 12 over 32. So we have taken care of the subtraction part of the problem. And now we notice that 12 and 32 share a common factor of 4. So I'm going to divide the top and the bottom by 4. 12 divided by 4 is 3. 32 divided by 4 is 8. And that is adding fractions with common denominators. I'm going to advance the screen, and I've got 4 examples for you to do. And also remember how to add signed numbers. There is a previous module above this in the student math community. So if you do not remember how to add and subtract signed numbers, you can go back and review there. So push pause. I'll see you in a minute. All right, welcome back. Let's take care of these 4 problems so that you can get on and practice. So again, the first example, common denominator of 17. So I have 5 plus 6. 5 plus 6 is 11 over 17. There are no common factors between 11 and 17. That problem is done, taken care of. The next one, common denominator of 45, so we have 19. This time we're subtracting 7. 19 minus 7 is 12 over 45. We leave that denominator the same. And then I'm hoping that you noticed that 12 and 45 share a common factor of 3. Okay, so if you're in intermediate algebra at Polk State, you can use calculators, so there is no reason that you cannot play around with a few factors on your calculator and come up with a common factor of 3. So we get 4 over 15. That is reduced. We are done. The next problem presents 2 negative fractions, and we are adding them. So the common denominator is 20. And again, if you need help with the rules for adding or subtracting signed numbers, there is a video above this that you can look at and lots of practice. So if we have 2 numbers that are both negative, you add the values, keep the sign. So I have a negative 3 and a negative 5. That is 8 over 20. And since both of them are negative, it is negative 8 over 20. We see that 8 and 20 both have a common factor of 4, and so that gives me negative 2 over 5. The last problem, common denominator of 7, we have a subtraction, but this time we have a subtraction where we have 4 minus 6. If you're able to do that in your head, fantastic, even better for you. If not, no problems at all. We're going to change this to an addition problem, so 4 over 7 plus, and it's negative 6 over 7. So we add the opposite. Same rules you see in a previous video in the student math community about subtracting signed numbers. So now I'm adding 2 numbers. One is a positive, one is a negative. So the rule here is you take the difference between the values. The difference between 4 and 6 is 2 over 7, and then the sign of the larger value wins, and so it's negative 2 over 7. That's it for adding fractions with common denominators. Give it practice, and I'll see you in the next video about what to do when the denominator is not the same.